He was in charge of England against Australia 5 years ago at Wembley. Okay, Steve-O, where's your hair shirt? Who's it on?
Well, when the rain was piling down about 2 hours ago, it really did favour the Kiwis. But as you can see, even the sunshine has come out, and if it still gets drier and drier as the game goes on, the Australians must feel confident. It's going to be close, but I'm still going to stick to the Kiwis.
They will have first use of this football, and Tallis in quickly along with Johns. Good tackle there on Craig Smith. Here is Quentin Pongia, the Australian defence, battling in on the tackle in the opening seconds of this match at Old Trafford. Good defence from Australia early here, and Tallis looks as though he is up for this.
So important that when you get your first chance to get a big hit in, and Tallis has already done 2 of those. Settles the nerves, but it just puts the opposition off.
The kick was from Henry Paul, and Wendell Saylor wasn't in any hurry to get to that at all. He knew it wasn't going to be a 40-20.
No doubt in my mind that Wendell Saylor decided that there's no rush. The game plan from their coach Chris Anderson has obviously been to just settle things down. Let's absorb what the Kiwis can throw at you straight away. But will the Australians shock everyone by putting on a quick move?
Well, let's see. They have Wendell Saylor standing at first receiver, and the Kiwis know just how very dangerous he is. Chris Anderson, the Australian coach, watching on as Johns is unable to scamper away from dummy half before Keeney and Swain get in there with the tackle.
Wendell Saylor lost the boot there. Kiwi picked it up, threw it about 30 metres away. He's still putting it on now.
Shane Webke struggling to get to his feet. Andrew Johns is the dummy half. He gets the ball away to Robbie Cairns, head shaven, especially for this World Cup final. 30 metres away from the Kiwis line with Brett Kimorley. And then the drive in here from Brian Fletcher. Fletcher today winning his 12th cap for his country. It's with Kimorley who will hoist the kick. This is going to be a feature, a tester for Vainikolo. The ball has bounced, and it bounced off a Kiwi's shoulder. Barnett was there.
Good option. Put him under pressure. We anticipated this. Leslie Vainikolo under a lot of problems there. They really all jumped up for it. Came off his chest. Just to be more pressure for the Kiwis.
Head and feed to
Watch for the
Australia.
blindside move.
Yes, Wendell Saylor is over there, and facing him is the man who is as big as him as Stuart Cummings tries to sort this scrum out, Leslie Vainikolo. Front rows bind. Kimorley now can feed. Big push on at the scrum. Referee not happy.
Well, it makes a change for 2 packs of forwards to actually push against each other.
That's how close the Aussies are. Kimorley has the ball and they come this way. Finds his captain Fittler. Fittler then to Lockyer. Lockyer wide to Rogers. Rogers tried to go around Banganer. Nigel Banganer gets a good tackle in. Lockyer again. Here now is Adam McDougall.
Good work from Banganer there. He spotted his opposite number. Knew he was just drifting back on the inside.
Johns, Webke. The Kiwis shooting out of the line. Craig Smith leading the charge there, the big number 8. Johns again is the man at dummy half. Misses out Webke, finds Kimorley. Kimorley then a flat ball. And this is Scott Hill. And Hill was almost through, but good defence there from Stephen Kearney. Aussie still not done. It's with Tallis. Tallis trying to go for the line.
Great strength from the second rower there. But again, Stephen Kearney coming to the rescue. Stacey Jones helping. Watch for the kick.
Kimorley dabs it through, looking for Fittler. Henry Paul has lost it.
He went backwards. Great play there from Henry Paul. But what a wonderful pressure kick here from Kimorley. Oh, Fittler knew exactly where that ball was going. And Henry Paul, heroics to stop that.
And he breathes a big sigh of relief. That could easily have been done, pinged there for a knock-on, easily.
Dragged it back, well spotted by the referee, Stuart Cummings.
Pongia with the drive now for New Zealand. Henry Paul, his heart must be missing a beat. But it's Nigel Banganer having a run from dummy half, and he's met fair and square by Webke. Frank Endicott, the New Zealanders coach, anxious face. Haven't seen him smile so far today. Nothing to smile about yet. Saylor plays for it with the boot, is able to pick up. Vainikolo waits for him. He just did enough.
New Zealanders feel that he has a problem, Wendell Saylor, when it's a bouncing ball and also the high bomb. No, I anticipate that Frank Endicott, the Kiwi coach, would have said, look, every chance you get, let's pepper Wendell Sailor all the time.
On the line and wait. Wait for his foot. Wait for his foot.
Robbie Kearns gets to his feet. They're on the halfway. Now they're over it with Wedke, the Australians. Craig Smith in there very quickly. Pongia was there as well. We said it would be a forward battle, and the forwards slugging it out so far. Now a chance for the backs, maybe. This is McDougall. Good tackling, though. Terrific tackle by Tony Carroll. And McDougall hurt as Kimorley hoists the bomb. Angle kick.
Oh, far too long. Oh, he come up and he went backwards. No, drop out. Well, there was no pressure on the fullback Richie Barnett there. Definitely went back, but you could see it was a dead in goal. We speak about the nerves, and you can see there he's breathing very heavy, but that's the problem for Australia. Adam McDougall picked up a bad knock. Doesn't look well. It was a good tackle from Carroll, and I think he got twisted over whilst Carroll was holding that leg. Oh, that'll be a knock-on. Sure. Oh, never.
Well, I think that's 2-1 in the calls. Lockyer gets away with it.
Well, he knocked it back and into the... Even though he's facing his own sticks, well, that is a real boo-boo, if I'm mine.
Well, I think all three of the calls about knock-ons or no have been questionable by Stuart Cummings.
Well, I have to disagree with you, Eddie. I thought the two Kiwi ones, first one Henry Paul and then Richie Barnett, they went backwards, but that certainly went forward.
You're not showing your colours, are you?
Not a matter of that, it's a matter of the official getting it right.
So the Australians will attack down the short side. Tallis, good defence from the Kiwis. Terrific defence. Ruben Wiki, certainly one of the best in the world. Kamali, crossfield kick, another tester. Lockyer got to it first.
Oh, he did get to it as well.
Just couldn't stay within the field of play.
Nigel Van Gedar made a real meal of that. See how he went late. Lockyer didn't. Of course, it was Lockyer that got caught by Lee Breers in that semi-final from a huge kick from Justin Harris. Lockyer was on his way down, Breers was on his way up. It resulted in a try, the opposite way around on that occasion. Well, they've scrambled back well of the Kiwis. They're under a lot of pressure.
They are. Our time in opposition half, 82%. 4 minutes. The New Zealanders yet to get over the halfway line. Maybe they will here now with Wiki. And we've seen that McDougall is struggling. Let's go straight down to Bill Arthur.
Yeah, McDougall is reluctant to join in the play at the moment. He's just looked towards the Aussie bench and grimaced and shaken his head, suggesting that their suggestion that he should run the knock-off isn't going to work. McDougall, I think, isn't going to last much longer.
He's virtually a passenger at the moment. He's hobbling around on halfway. The kick down the line, though, to Sailor. Sailor then infield, it goes to Darren Lockyer. Back it goes to Matt Rogers. Rogers then on to Sailor again. He's almost around Willie Talau. Such a difficult man to put down, this big fella.
How's that for confidence? Long ball again, keeping the ball alive in their own quarter. I mentioned before the game, Eddie, that they're so, both these sides, they can be explosive from deep within.
Penalty. Stephen Kearney messing around as Matt Rogers tried to get to his feet. Hand in on the football there, you can see.
Little doubt. And he's made his mark now as Stuart Cummings. This is the problem for the Australians. He doesn't look too impressed, Adam McDougall. In fact, he looks somewhat distressed.
Well, it could be a huge blow to the Australians, this injury to Adam McDougall. He's still down in back play as this attack continues. And, of course, there's no Jason Croker on the bench either for the Australians. A lot of people thought he could cover for the centre pairing. Chris Anderson making the decision to leave him out, and of course Ryan Girdler also injured. So problems for the Aussies, but at the moment they're in possession with Darren Lockyer, 20 metres away from the Kiwi line. Rogers is the dummy half. This now is Fittler. On it goes to Kamali. Kamali gives it a bit of width, and that is Fletcher. Good support. Kamali got a kick into it. Ball bounced back. Kearney picks up the pieces. New Zealand breathe again.
First mistake there. Just about to get the kick in there. Kamali was taking it a hit. Again, the Kiwis are scrambling back. But can the Kiwis get over this halfway line? That's their biggest problem. Remember, Australia, that's how they come up with the victories, is to utilise position on the field of play. and they are just controlling it out there at the moment.
McDougall is now in the defensive line. There he is, the middle of your picture, and he's got a huge ankle strap, but that was a good tackle just the same, and he lost that, but he was interfered with. So McDougall strapped up and back into the action, and a penalty.
Well, it surprises me that Chris Anderson has not made the change. You can see that he had the right arm there, McDougall. It's a big gamble by the Australian coach, but he must feel pretty confident. McDougall, a pretty strong runner when he's fully fit.
Talking of pretty strong runners, Quentin Pongia is exactly that. This is the first real opportunity for New Zealand to mount any real pressure. We've had 10 minutes of the World Cup final of 2000. It's with Ruben Wiki for New Zealand. They're 20 metres away in centre field. And Richard Swain's the dummy half.
Watch for the forwards twisting in the tackle and trying to get the offload, but that's great defence. Solid hit there from Brad Fittler.
Fittler and Tallis. Here is Craig Smith to drive it in again. The ball comes back and play on, says Stuart Cummings. It's with Stacey Jones. Now here comes Tony Carroll. He offloads to Jones. This is Pongia. Here is Craig Smith taking on Robbie Kearns, rather.
Good play from Kearns as well. Ball and all tackle.
New Zealand, first opportunity. Stacey Jones stabs it towards the in-goal area.
Oh, he had his foot over.
Wendell Saylor took a massive gamble. Well, he was confident.
How's this for keeping cool? Left leg over first. Ball still rolling.
How cool is that in a World Cup final? Well, it's boiling up, this, isn't it? 11 and a half minutes gone. All we expected and more so far. Ferocious tackling and great skill when ball is in hand. Tallis. Little high from Craig Smith, but it went up off the shoulder first.
Surprisingly, though, Australia had all the possession. We have not seen Brad Fittler take control out there. Most of the playmaking has been doing by Brett Kamali, the little halfback.
And that wasn't the greatest kick. Nigel Vangana picks it up. McDougall and Rogers get to him, and he's forced back a few metres.
But that's a big advantage of these Australians. Their chase is so superb. They'll try to ensure that the Kiwis stay well and truly in their own half. That's good work, though, from the hooker, Richard Swain.
Andrew Johns got to him with the tackle. Here is Stacey Jones. Now it's with Pongia, and he is met again. And Webke and Kearns really are putting themselves about early here.
Australian line, you can see they're moving up extremely quickly.
That's a possibility of the 40-20, but it just didn't have the angle. So Darren Lockyer can pick up for Australia. Tries to go round Willie Talau. Good tackle. Here's Wendell Saylor. Kearney meets him.
Good work from the first marker there. The second rower, Stephen Kearney, read it well. Knew that Saylor was going to go from dummy half.
Stevens has come on for Shane Webke. Not the change that we thought Chris Anderson would make first up, with McDougall struggling. But well, McDougall's still out there.
Well, I must say that Stuart Cummings is not getting a Big Ten back. They're into each other's faces.
Here's McDougall, away from Tony Carroll, but not away from Stacey Jones. That's the fifth and last. Now then, Kimorley hoists the kick. This is a good kick. Vainikolo waits and claims it. Kimorley chasing up, but Vainikolo brushes him away. Can't get away from Stevens, and he can't get away also from the first man in, but McDougall continues to struggle.
Surely they've got to take him off now. He's just a passenger out there. Australia playing with 12 men.
Offside.
Oh, did he knock on then? Well,
I'll tell you what.
I thought he kicked it and then knocked on. Henry Paul went on, kicked it, just didn't touch the fingertip.
A great call from Stuart Cummings.
Big call as well. That would have been the boo-boo of the game so far.
It's with Stacey Jones. Back on the inside it goes to Ruben Wiki. Australia waiting for him in numbers. Double change by the Kiwis. Vangana and Kayless on. And here is Henry Paul. He gets it to Stephen Kearney. Had to reach for that. Fletcher got to him. Ball's popped up. Kangaroos have it back in the shape of Jason Stevens.
Poor play there from Stephen Kearney, trying to get the ball away in an impossible situation. They've got to make sure that they can apply that pressure. They failed to do that. Only on 2 occasions they've applied the kick, and they've both gone all the way to Wendell Saylor on that right wing.
That's good.
Well, it's a real crunching, tackling World Cup final so far. This is McDougall, great support. Lockyer will tackle Vangana.
Well, this McDougall, he looks dead 1 minute and then races away another.
That's why Chris Anderson's keeping him out there. It's with Johns. Now then, here is a chance for Gidley. Gidley gives it to Wendell Saylor. Wendell Saylor halted by a wonderful tackle from the captain, Richie Barnett. He's looking for the penalty. No penalty forthcoming. Kimorley to hoist the kick out wide. Tester for Vangana. Vangana comes up with it.
Dodgy times, Nigel Vangana, but he took it exceptionally well. Just like a chess game, this powerhouse in the forwards and then utilising the kick to the wing.
Tackle of the match so far, though, Steve-O, by Richie Barnett on Wendell Saylor with the try line beckoning.
He's had a wonderful series, that's for sure.
Music to the ears of the London Broncos, that. A real... Oh, he's nicked it!
Play on.
Kimorley nicked it off Stacey Jones.
Poor play by the halfback. You've got to keep hold of that football. They're just putting more pressure on themselves all the time.
One-on-one, it was perfectly legal. Here is Robbie Kearns again, to within 10 metres of the line for the Australians. 16 minutes gone. Deadlock at Old Trafford in the World Cup final. It's with Kimorley. Back on the inside to Tallis. And Tallis was almost through. It was a great tackle from Richard Swain, finished off by Stephen Kearney. Here now is Kimorley. They're spreading it wide again. It's with Gidley. Gidley goes to Saylor. He drops it.
He was in 2 minds, the big fella Saylor. Gidley, nice pass, but he really should have been pounding onto the ball, and Saylor was thinking about coming back on the inside. He who hesitates misses out, and they have on that occasion.
Here we go. Let's get this one started, fellas. There's going to be a few of these, so come on. Raiders out.
Well, Chris Anderson knows that maybe that was the first try of the World Cup final beckoning.
Well, if it had been coming on a charge, they wouldn't have stopped him, that's for sure. He's got a wonderful service as this youngster in the centre, Matthew Gidley. Sometimes some of the pass is so magical with a pair of hands.
So New Zealand have the chance to build from deep within their own quarter again. It's 0-0 in the World Cup final. And Barnett has it for New Zealand.
Well, this must be irritating the Australian bench. Chris Anderson, the coach, must be thinking all that pressure, but no points as yet.
This is the head-to-head, all meetings since 1908. Overwhelming advantage to Australia. And in World Cups, New Zealand have never, ever beaten the Australians in the series, in a World Cup final series. It's 11-0 on that scoreline. It's 0-0 on the one that matters here today. Wendell Saylor is allowed to let that ball bounce, and he will come forward again. But they're dealing with him, the Kiwis. That's a great kick and chase. Nathan Kalis was leading the way with Matt Rua.
Well, they all feel confident of it. They have not kicked once to this fella, Matt Rogers,
Don't go lazy on me, come on.
which may surprise quite a few people. I mean, the size of Wendell Saylor, you say, well, it's like an express train when it gets going. But they feel he's a weak link.
Coming down the short side, the Australians. And here's Rogers. He's escaped the clutches of Rua. He tried to go between Jones and Swain.
So fast from a standing start there. Good work at the dummy half position.
It's the last one, this. There's a kick coming in from Kimorley. Another little tester for Bainakolo, but he has dealt with it superbly. So, lost it. And it's play on, says the referee, Stuart Cummings.
Well, nervous times from both sides. What a wonderful run from the fullback.
Still not tackled.
Oh, it was a big hit from Matthew Gidley. Went behind yet again. This is warming up. That is wonderful defence. Gordon Tallis. What a big hit. But look how they're getting out of the blocks in this defensive line. Poor pass, but they'll get away with it.
Yes, they've come up with it just the same. Kearney. Knock on against Kearney. Big hit by Kimorley. Little Kimorley, big Kearney, bang. And Kearney lost it.
Jumped straight into his face. Forcing the pass yet again. Nathan Kalis, but that is good work there from a little halfback. Just like a limpet mine. Come here. And he lost it. Well spotted by Stuart Cummings. Well, mistakes are plenty. Nerves still playing its part out there, which is surprising. Midway through this first half.
Okay, tackle one.
Can Australia build on all this possession? The captain Fittler, inside it goes to Robbie Cairns.
And two.
Well, I'm beginning to wonder whether there's a problem with their skipper. He's not putting himself about Brad Fittler. He normally takes control, but Kamal is doing that at the moment.
This is Andrew Johns. It goes wide to Scott Hill, and Hill inviting the right from Saylor. Oh, they took a huge gamble there by Nicolo. They dillied and dallied and delayed, and Saylor was onto it.
Here we go.
Stacey Jones said, here, you have it.
Well, they hesitated yet again.
But I'll tell you what, though, Steve-O, from that angle, the young Vinacolo, that stuck, didn't it? Robbie Cairns to the bench.
All that action is out on that far side, that's for sure. They're working overtime. Vinacolo and Wendell Saylor.
Right, no penalties. Tackles down.
Drive forward there by Darren Britt.
Right, wait for his foot.
Well, it's really been a game of near chances so far.
And all near chances for Australia.
Follow Philip. Follow Nathan.
Their line rarely threatened. Here is Fittler.
Well,
Fittler still.
The only one chance was that Stacey Jones little kick into the in-goal area, but other than that, they've repelled them easily.
Tallis for the corner. Hauled back by Stacey Jones and Nigel Vangana.
Again, good work from the dummy half position. They're doing a lot of running from that area.
McDougall trying to pinch one, and he's held up. He's held up on this side of the line, so it will continue the tackle count. Referee Stuart Cummins, did you see? On the last, he says. Kimorley stabs it through. Still on the last. Fittler has it. Back it goes to Lockyer. Now it'll be down to 0 on the tackle count. Aussies have it back.
Kayla's got a hand to it. Crowd don't like it, but the referee's got it spot on. Oh, what a mistake. Oh, he's dropped it now.
Play on, says the referee. Play on. Back it comes. Australia laying siege to the Kiwis line. That's a run from Nathan Hindmarsh. This is Johns. Now it's with Fittler. Here is Kimorley. That's McDougall. Wonderful tackle, Nigel Vangana.
They say it's not his greatest part of his game, but he's up to the test today, Vangana.
Kimorley looking for the big forwards charging on. This is Jason Stevens.
Now then, where's Fittler? Surely he's got to scheme something.
Fittler waits this way, but they go the other way and find Kimorley. Then the ball back on the inside. It's the substitute Hindmarsh. Johns trying to nick one himself. He gets it away to Scott Hill. Scott Hill flings it back, and luckily it bounces to Wendell Saylor. Saylor! First try of the World Cup. Wendell Saylor. Referee hasn't given it yet. Referee hasn't given it yet. Jerry Kershaw, over to you. He's the video referee, but Wendell Saylor thinks he has registered first try of the World Cup final. It would be his 9th of the tournament.
Beautiful play by Saylor, showed all his strength. No doubt in my mind, this will be TRY. Good control.
Well, there's a hand under there, and does it belong to Stephen Kearney?
He's got it there, no doubt about it. Part of the ball, that all he has to do. Surely they won't deny this. Well, it's surprising me, Jerry Kershaw, the video referee.
Look at the hand of Stephen Kearney, is right under the ball.
Yeah, and then it touches. He hasn't got that big a hand. I haven't seen a human being, maybe a gorilla, but not a human being that's got a hand that big. It's got to be TRY.
Well, if Steve-O says it's a try, you can put your mortgage on that this is going to be no try. There is a hand under there from Stephen Kearney. Watch the decision of Jerry Kershaw. I told you, no try. Wendell Saylor is bemused, and Chris Anderson can't believe it either. Held up in goal.
Well, that is unbelievable. A wrist of a man with a big ball like that underneath. Well, that is absolutely unbelievable. I cannot understand that at all, and he can't.
The Stephen Kearney's hand was underneath the football and was not grounded. That's the view of Jerry Kershaw, the video referee. Well, it's head and feed to the Aussies at the scrum. It was on the full tackle. So, does that sting them into action? Fittler! Stopped by the tackle from Willie Talau. Now on the charge. Australia have been angered by that. Hindmarsh, since he's come on, has played a big part. Johns. That's Brit. Have you ever known 23, nearly 24 minutes where the Australians have had so much possession and nothing to show for it on the score?
Well, that should have been a try, Eddie. I just cannot believe that that has not been given.
Tallis!
Surely that will lift the Australians now, but it's a saviour for the Kiwis, that's for sure.
Kimorley, Fittler, wide it goes, on the bounce to Rogers. And Rogers will now straighten it up. Well, of course, this is a game and a sport all about opinions. That's your opinion about that, Steve-O, but not the video referee. Kimorley with a kick to the in-goal. It's flicked back. Kearney says thanks a lot.
How on earth has this New Zealand side absorbed this pressure is beyond belief. Australia can't believe it. It was good play by the loose forward Scott Hill. He knocked it back. Well, when are they going to breach through?
Well, I suppose at 0-0 with Australia having so much possession, and here comes Tony Carroll.
Ooh, nearly got it away then as well.
The Kiwis must be gaining in confidence as this goes on, strange as it may seem. They're very much on the back peg. Henry Paul, though, has hammered it downfield. I think he just wants to get over the halfway line.
Well, they just have not been in this half.
12 minutes, Australia have been camped in New Zealand territory.
Oh, they've got to go on the legs. Can't go high with this fella. He proved that when it should have been a try, but he said no try of mine, but he's just so strong. Well, will it knock the confidence of the Australians? Having that try disallowed.
Drive up again. Jason Stevens, this is. Not the tidiest play of the ball. Here goes Gordon Tallis. Starting to run, Tallis like we know he can. Oh, and Hindmarsh was hunting on his shoulder. It's now with Johns. Inside it goes to Kimorley. And Kimorley taking them on down the middle, looking over his shoulder. There was no one there.
Good
Johns
work
again.
from Ruben Wiki. That was a great tackle. It had to be. Pressure again. Surely they'll wilt.
Saylor kicks towards in goal. He's got it. Oh, what a collision. But I think Gidley's got the touchdown this time. He's gone to the screen again. Australia are celebrating. Gidley believes he scored the try.
So do I. That's try time. He won't be denied here. They were very slow. It was a wonderful kick from Wendell Saylor.
It's Kearney again.
Kearney really should have got to that quicker. No doubt this will be TRY. Surely they can't deny the Australians this one. But what a wonderful kick from Wendell Saylor. Nowhere to go. Came at the option. Beautiful play. He's onside. That's what the video referee wants to look at. There's Gidley on the inside. No doubt in my mind, as soon as the ball has left the foot. Wonderful effort. Well, Wendell Saylor, he's been the star of the show, denied a try there, but has created one for Gidley. This will be TRY.
Well, that's your view, but we all know what that means. You've got it right this time. Australia with the first blood of the World Cup final, at last.
Well, I was wondering when the pressure would tell on this New Zealand outfit. They have just been relentless as the Australians. Wave after wave, they've just put it through to them. Excellent play there. We spoke about the wonderful pair of hands from Gidley. The little pass on, didn't take it fully, just flicked it to Saylor. And Saylor knew, as soon as he put the boot to ball, that Gidley would go right back on the inside. What a wonderful try. Well, the people who have tickets at this side must be wondering what's gone wrong. It's all been played over there.
Well, he looks like Kachis, doesn't he, Matt Rogers? But what a kicker! What a kicker this fellow is! The Aussies lead 6-0 in the World Cup final. Matthew Gidley, he has had a terrific World Cup. He's winning his 10th cap for his country today. A try in his Test debut in New Zealand, or against New Zealand rather, in last year's defeat in the Tri-Series.
But what a wonderful sort of pass on with both hands, basketball style, from Matthew Gidley.
By Gidley, and then Gidley finished it off. Well, just a quick reminder to you again that today's game is interactive. If you're watching on Sky Digital, simply press the red button on that handset of yours to access the various options that are available to you today. Sky Sports and Rugby League goes interactive for the first time in the world. We're breaking new ground again here on Sky Sports today for this World Cup final.
Well, a silly pass there from Wendell Saylor. They're getting a little bit overconfident, Australia.
Well, they had so much of the football. Kimoli with the kick.
Virtually one-way traffic. Look at that chase. That is their strength, the kick and chase. They've forced him down. That's the reason why Australia have had all the possession.
Offside.
This will help. And boy, oh boy, the Kiwis need it.
Not standing square to play the ball either.
Well, we really have not seen any wonderful attack from the Kiwis. They have never had much chance, have they?
Maybe this is it for them. They just have been starved of possession. Joe Vangana in possession here, a Bradford bull now after the deal this week. On to Stacey Jones. Here's another Bradford bull, Henry Paul. Wonderful pass. Willie Talau. He's got Vainakolo. Oh, Vainakolo's dropped it.
Can't believe it. Back on the inside.
And play on, says the referee. Stuart Cummings, Australia have it. But Vainakolo, if he'd have taken that in, was home.
Oh, beautiful pass out wide. Talau came back on the inside. Vainakolo knew what to do.
Here we go.
The pass maybe a little bit too late. See how he just hung on to it. Maybe he should have gone first.
Well, that was an opportunity spurned. Leslie Vainakolo couldn't get hold of the football, but the pass, maybe from Willie Talau, was just delayed fatally a fraction of a second too long. Johns is away. Kimoli's in support, and he is gathered in immediately by Joe Vangana.
One of the few runs from the hooker, Andrew Johns.
Scott Hill, flicks it over the
dangerous
top.
stuff, but they're gaining in confidence now, aren't they?
They are. This is Hindmarsh again. That's the last. It's now with Kimoli. And Kimoli again to pepper Vainakolo. Sailors after it.
Oh, he nearly had it.
Vainakolo's come up with the goods. Off he goes.
Great work, great rugby league football from both sides. It looked at one point that Vainakolo was juggling with it. Saylor came at him. Saylor sort of half got it, and then Vainakolo pulled it back. Oh, what a game this is turning out to be.
This is blood and thunder stuff, the World Cup final. You'd expect nothing less. Vainakolo against Saylor, one of the great confrontations of this match so far. And here is Talau, gathered in by the try scorer Matthew Gidley. We've had half an hour of the World Cup final. It's flown by. And Australia defending brilliantly now. This is the last tackle. The Kiwis on halfway. Henry Paul puts in the midfield bomb, looking for Nigel Vangana. Vangana hacks it on. It bounces this way and that. McDougall has it back for Australia. He jinks away from one. He can't get away from them, but he still makes a few more vital meters.
Oh, to let it bounce there. McDougall in two minds to go for that football. Oh, that looked pretty high. Matt Rogers felt that. Good hit from Ruben Wiki.
Hold. That's great.
Australians will just compose themselves.
Well, they're trying to keep this ball alive at every opportunity.
But the three quarters are doing wonders out there. They're bringing this ball up to the halfway line, and when you can do that, you know that when you put the kick in, you're going to force the Kiwis way back into their quarter yet again. It's been monotonous.
Fittler helps it on to Kim Morley. He's been involved in everything. And then the ball further wide to Brian Fletcher.
Oh, he's lost it.
He has.
Fletcher says it's been interfered with, but he lost it. Ball retention is so important. He's had a good World Cup as Brian Fletcher.
Here we go.
Great runner, gets through a lot of work as well.
8 minutes to half-time, 6-0 to Australia in the World Cup final of 2000. Frank Endicott, the Kiwi coach, a loser here at Old Trafford 6 weeks ago, on the wrong end of the scoreline again here this afternoon. It's with Henry Paul now. Henry Paul can spark them.
Hey, tackle one, lead it.
Hindmarsh has been all over the show since he come on.
Well, you could see the confused look on Frank Endicott, the Kiwi coach. It's mainly due to the fact that he knows they just can't keep possession.
Pongia and Craig Smith, you might have noticed, have returned. The ball has come back off Ruben Wiki. It goes back to Henry Paul, then back again to Logan Swan. Logan Swan grappled to the ground by Brad Fittler. Tony Carroll will attack down the short side. Almost slid out of the field of play by Adam McDougall. Stays in field though. It was Swain onto Jones. Miss out pass, and he finds Henry Paul. Lovely kick for Barnett to chase. Saylor's there though. Oh, and Saylor just tips the ball inside to Darren Lockyer. Lockyer to attack from deep.
Well, the arrogance of this Australian side really does amaze me. But what a game this fella's having. They've played over to his wing the entire first half, and he's done his bit. Should have had a try. It was disallowed, but created the one for Gidley. He's worked overtime.
Charge upfield now by Jason Stevens again. Another man who made his international bow against the Kiwis, that in 1997. This is Brett Kimorley. By dint of the fact that he's got Andrew Johns playing at hooker today, Brett Kimorley regarded now by many as the best scrum half in the world.
Well, it's amazing, Eddie. I keep saying about this Wendell Saylor, but he's been on TV more times today than Errol Flynn.
Vinacolo.
Oh, he's dropped it. Was he taken out, though?
No, referee says play on.
He waited until he touched the ball there. It was perfection there from Wendell Saylor. Vinacolo under a lot of pressure again.
And so is this Kiwi defensive line as Darren Brick drives it in.
Now then, will the Australians think about the 1 point?
It's Kimorley running flat. Oh, and he went without it. Stacey Jones has got it. Stacey Jones has got it for the Kiwis. Great chase back. Wonderful chase by Adam McDougall.
Certainly was to say he's injured, but good work there from Matt Rogers.
Here's Craig Smith now.
When Stacey Jones made that break, Matt Rogers made sure to put himself between him and the supporting player. There was no way in the world that the little halfback Jones could get that ball away.
Let him up, Jason!
So can New Zealand now make some use of this football? Henry Paul. Inside it goes to Kearney. And Kearney is felled by Scott Hill's tackle. Henry Paul again. Every time the New Zealanders get the football, which isn't often, it must be said, the crowd rises at Old Trafford. They are willing, these Kiwis, to lift this World Cup. Stacey Jones, Tony Carroll, escapes the net. Still going, ripped to the ground by Matt Rogers. 10 metres away, last one. Stacey Jones thinks of the kick, puts it in. A test of a Sailor. Sailor's got hold of it.
Oh, he juggled it yet again. What a fascinating game this man has had. Kearney's down in back play. He took a knock. Oh, he wobbled it, juggled it, took it in. And he's there to take the ball up yet again.
3! No penalty!
How much work do this Australian side want to give this guy?
That's 4!
Marvellous you're comparing Wendell Saylor to Errol Flynn. I've not seen Errol Flynn on the telly just recently, I must say, but I take your point.
Last, Craig, get out!
I only have black and white at my place.
40-20!
It's a big kick downfield. And it's Barnett who's underneath it. Barnett, he has had a wonderful, wonderful World
tackle
Cup.
one, let him up!
But again,
Here you go, look
that
at me.
wonderful kick and chase from the Australians leaves this New Zealand outfit
And
yet
two. Have a
playing
look
within
at me,
their own
fellas,
half.
have a look at me.
Richard Swain, Pongia to drive in again.
It's been a solid defence from the forwards from Australia today.
Wait.
Their defence has been strong, haven't made many breaks. the Kiwis.
Flying tackle there from Jason Stevens. On halfway, New Zealand with Richard Swain. Pongia. Back it goes to Stacey Jones. Looking for support, it's arrived from Henry Paul. Scott Hill got to him. And they're completing their sets of 6 against the Kiwis, Australia, with the ball really being played about 40 metres away from the try line. Lockyer has spilled that, but it went backwards. He's trapped in goal, though.
Have they got the time? Yes, according to the clock. I mentioned that he hasn't had the best of World Cups, Darren Lockyer. Here's the pass on the inside, then the intercept. Stacey went away, but watch how Rogers puts himself in between. There was no chance he could get the ball to Nigel Wagner.
Well, the scars of battle on Matt Rogers' head. Lockyer with the dropout, and it's to the halfway line. Pongia, what have they got left in the clock? They've got about 2¼ minutes, New Zealand. Can they do something with it? Stern defence. Hindmarsh has been magnificent since he's come on.
He's trying to make a point, isn't he?
Here's Craig Smith for New Zealand.
And as I mentioned, Eddie, this pack, the Australian 6, they've worked overtime.
This is Swain. 3 tackles gone. Now then, an opportunity for New Zealand. They've been few and far between. Stacey Jones, Tony Carroll, Nigel Wagner. McDougall doing a good defensive job on him. Stacey Jones once more. Logan Swan. Big man Logan Swan powers it to within 12 metres. Now then, what have they got left in the locker on the last? It's with Henry Paul. A dab to the in goal for Swain. Collected by Lockyer.
Ooh, nervous times there for the full-back. He just hesitated, but he made sure he got to it. Richard Swain was onto him. And who's there yet again? Helping out, bringing him away. Well-weighted kick there, but that's good work from the full-back.
McDougall again. New Zealand have the sense of something. A minute to go. Lockyer under a little bit of pressure in the last few seconds, as is his defence. And it's Darren Brick trying to work it away now. That's 4 tackles gone, says referee Stuart Cummings.
Well, nothing silly now from the Australians. They know that the clock is ticking down to halfway.
That's the last good defensive effort here from the Kiwis. It's with Johns, who will hoist the ball downfield. Now then, they've got time left. It's with Vainakolu, and he will pick it up and launch the last attack of this first half for New Zealand.
They'll have to get a move on if they want to try to get points before half-time. Oh, again, this solid defence.
Willie Talau, struggling to get to his feet, does so. Plays the ball to Swain. Here now comes Ruben Wiki. Great defence from Australia again.
Watch how the Australians are turning the ball carrier. It's not only eating up time, it's taking away the energy as well.
They've looked at the big clock here at Old Trafford. They know they've got 10 seconds to go. There's the kick from Stacey Jones. It's out wide and hacked forward by Tony Carroll, who has pulled a hamstring, I think. Tony Carroll has immediately gone to the back of his leg and pulled a hamstring. That's why he couldn't chase that kick there. Lockyer just taps the ball over the line, and I think New Zealand and Tony Carroll have got big problems. So has Frank Endicott, if what I saw was right, and Tony Carroll looked as though he immediately clutched the back of his leg. They'll have to do some work on him during half-time.
Yeah, 60 more tackles. You wouldn't want to be doing that against the Cook Islands, but against Australia, that is a hell of a lot.
But it's probably in the second half that gives you that sense of hope. You know, here's a football team that's had to tackle for most of the game.
Half about to get underway. Australia will attack from left to right as you watch, and the Kiwis right to left. Any moment now we will be underway when the lunatic gets off the field. Well, this is the last thing that the players needed. The stewards are having the devil's own job getting hold of this fool, but they're getting him now. And he will be led away. He will see no more of this World Cup final. So, Australia against New Zealand. Second half of the World Cup final.
Okay? Yeah, let's go. Okay, fellas, stay behind.
And New Zealand get us underway for the second half. An absolutely crucial 40 minutes of rugby league football. Let nobody tell you anything else.
That rather surprised me there that the Kiwis went for a long kick-off. I would have thought that perhaps Frank Endicott would have said to his side, let's try to get this ball straight away. They saw very little of it in that first half. And it is important now that the Kiwis score first.
That tackle count, Steve-O, will play its part, I'm sure.
Just about to say, Eddie, that they've got to tire late on, so they've got to try to get points on the board within the next 15 minutes.
Kimorley with the punching kick over the top. This is a wide field, Old Trafford, long pitch as well, and Richie Barnett is able to pick it up for New Zealand. Maybe he was looking for a 40-20 of Brett Kimorley.
Well, you can see there that Willie Tallow ran from dummy half, and that's been the difference between the two sides. So that's a much better run from Leslie Vainikolo, because the Australian wingers, Matt Rogers and Wendell Saylor, they have done magnificent work in that first half. Every time the Kiwis kick down into the corner, you can guarantee that both those two were working overtime to make sure that they got away.
Tony Carroll, crunching tackle by Adam McDougall.
Well, they must have worked wonders on Tony Carroll. I was with you, Eddie. I thought that he pulled up with a hamstring strain.
That's a great kick from Stacey Jones. Lockie is after it. Oh, he's one of the best in the world, if not the best. Two great fullbacks on view here today, Steve.
Well, I criticised Darren Lockyer for his poor attempt. Remember when Lee Brea scored that try for Wales? But not on that occasion. His timing was quite superb. Launched himself to perfection.
Darren Britt has it for Australia. Early moments of this second half of the World Cup. The Australians ahead by 6 points to nil. Nothing really between the two sides.
Composure, that will be the key for the Australians. I'm sure that the coach Chris Anderson would have laid it down, make sure that the kicking game and chase is good, as it was in the first half, and it is yet again.
That's a super kick from Kimorley, chased down by Saylor and Kimorley and Matt Gidley. So the Kiwis in possession deep in their own half. Let's get the news of what was said at half-time from Bill Arthur.
Steve-O hit the nail on the head there. That kick from Brett Kimorley, evidence of how canny the Australians can be expected to play it in this second half. They know they have the dominance. Okay, they haven't got the points on the board, but as long as they maintain the control that they showed in that first half, then they're confident and happy with the way this game is going for them. New Zealand coach Frank Endicott not panicking yet, but he's expecting his players to turn it up a notch in the second half. The message to the Kiwis was, this is a vital 40 minutes in your career. It could all hinge on this. Glory for New Zealand, and they really are going out to try and rattle the Aussies early on in this second half.
Yes, it's a massive 40 minutes, and there are so many neutrals who want to see Australia knocked off their perch as the world champions. They would love the Kiwis to do it, but you have to take your hats off so far to the way Australia have controlled this World Cup final.
And their positional sense has been quite superb. As Bill just mentioned, it is such a key factor, the kick and chase, and they are the best in the world, make no bones about it. And I'm sure that even the Australian players and their coach Anderson realises that as this game progresses, their fitness and stamina perhaps will tell.
Nathan Hindmarsh, who once upon a time might have even turned up for Scotland in this World Cup. He and his brother back home got the call from Sean McRae, but then Nathan was chosen for Australia. That was the end of the matter. That's a dreadful bounce. Awful bounce for Vanganan. A good job there that Richie Barnett was on hand to sweep up for the Kiwis. But it's little bounces like that and chases like this.
Fantastic stuff.
It makes you think that this could be Australia's day.
Just basic rugby league football. Nothing fancy about it. Just get the options right.
But there was a little bit of luck about the bounce initially.
You make your own luck in this game. You force the issue. That wasn't luck. The two Aussie players were there, and there was Matt Rogers. The second effort. Get him in the in-goal area. Just eats away at you. The fact that they're so strong.
Great drop out from underneath the sticks, though. The third that the Aussies have forced. And on the drive goes Darren Britt.
Here we go, fellas. Wait on the 10, wait.
They can't get the ball, New Zealand. That's been their problem from the very first whistle of this World Cup final. The Australians have had so much possession. And they're in possession now with Andrew Johns.
And they've done it well with the fact that their skipper, Brad Fittler, he's more or less well, he's just a passenger out there. You've hardly seen anything from Fittler, who's got magnificent skills.
Great hands here from Australia. This is Fletcher. It's opened up briefly for Fletcher. And Keaney was last line of defence then, and he had to be. And the Kiwis have got him on his back, and they're trying to delay him and stop him and slow this attack down. Johns gives it to Kamali. Kamali then to Scott Hill. Scott Hill releases the pass once more. They are so close there in the shape of Darren Britt. Again, Keaney is there. They're bang in front of the post. Australia, Johns, Fittler. Wide it goes. Try for Hindmarsh. Nathan Hindmarsh. A vital try for the Australians. He has had one heck of a game since he came on. It's his fourth try of this World Cup. A stunning start to his international career in this World Cup of 2000 for the 21-year-old from Parramatta. Nathan Hindmarsh with maybe a killer blow.
The bounce of the ball, but look at the chase here. And it made the Kiwis drop out from underneath their post, and from it, the first time Fittler, look how the dummy runner was Kamali. Fittler's superb pass. I said he hadn't done much. He doesn't have to when you produce a pass like that. The big fella Hindmarsh in for the try. Superb pass. Superb running off the ball from the halfback Brett Kamali. Sucked in the defence, and that was sufficient.
Nathan Hindmarsh. He played himself into the 17 for today as a substitute against Wales last week. And here comes Rogers now with his second attempt. And Rogers doesn't miss those. Maybe the killer blow. Australia 12 up.
That was a superb effort. The mistake coming from the Kiwis, being dragged into their own area, but that was superb play. We often speak about the role of the unselfish running off the ball, and it was on that occasion from Brett Kamali.
Short kick-off from the Kiwis. They've got it back with Craig Smith. They've got to throw caution to the wind now. They've got to score 3 times to win the World Cup.
Well, it's what I expected from the restart in the second half. They've got it now. They really have got to crank it up.
Yes, New Zealand have to step up a gear. Oh, it's Stacey Jones. It wasn't the best pass. How's he given that? How has Stuart Cummins willed that to have gone back?
Well, that amazes me.
Here we go. Here we go.
He's had a good game up to now. Now he's joined the video ref.
Craig Smith with the drive in for New Zealand. That's the 5th and last, though. Stacey Jones got away with it in the view of referee Stuart Cummins. Henry Paul, that's a good kick. That's a great kick. Vinacola's after it, or it's Vangana rather who's after it. And he was taken out in the air, was he? No.
He jumped from the field of play, Jason.
He jumped from the field of play.
Jump from here. He's going to drop.
So therefore it's a drop out.
Jump right, Stuart.
Still good work though from Matt Rogers.
I went backwards.
Well spotted by Stuart Cummins. And the Australians complaining to the officials, saying that what about the knock-on from Stacey Jones? And Stuart Cummins was quick to riposte with it went backwards. Well, it had me confused. Either way, this is a vital moment now for New Zealand. And they know they've got to build on this. They have to score.
You have to ask, Steve-O, when will Frank Endicott just toss young Robbie Paul into the action?
It won't be long.
In actual fact, I hear that Robbie Paul is warming up. The drop out underneath the sticks goes into the arms of Stephen Kearney. Oh, what a drive in, and Scott Hill was bumped on his backside, but Brian Fletcher finished him off. Richard Swain is the dummy half. Craig Smith, good run, great run from the New Zealand prop forward. That'll lift them.
Much better there, could have been a flop as well.
He's warming up his Robbie. That's Richard Swain at dummy half, fires it to brother Henry. Wide it goes then to Stacey Jones. They've got a man on the overlap. It's Tony Carroll. Here now is Vangana, and he's hauled down again.
What a great tackle from the skipper, Brad Fittler. Oh, that was poor play by the Kiwis. There was no one in there at the dummy half. Stacey Jones had to slide in.
The ball was Swain, he straightens it up, and Scott Hill was waiting for him. It's the fifth and last.
Beautiful sliding defence there by the Australians.
Stacey Jones, a little dink over the top, looking for the big fella, Matt Ruhr. It's dropped by Nicolo. He's going to score. Australia waiting for the knock-on. Australia waits for the knock-on. By Nicolo, takes it into his own hands.
Knock-on in there by New
Has he
Zealand.
scored? Jerry
Knock-on in there by
Kershaw
New
wins the
Zealand player.
decision now.
That was right.
Neat little chip over.
Well, Matt Ruhr is the man in there.
Well, it looks to me as though Lockyer has knocked it forward. And Vainicolo, yeah, it comes off the body of the fullback, Darren Lockyer. This will be a try, surely, for the Volcano. He didn't have to erupt on this. Yep. Watch it come off the elbow of Darren Lockyer. There doesn't appear to be no forward movement from the Kiwi, and this will set this ground alight. The Kiwis surely now are back in this game. Popped up nicely for the big fella, launched his way through. No obstruction there by Paul, and what a time to plunk your first try down in your World Cup final. It's a superb kick. Now that looks as though it's come off lucky for mine. Jerry Kershaw wants to see another angle. Hits the elbow there. Well, surely you can see that it's coming off the elbow of Lockyer. There's no forward movement.
Well, Vainicolo waits because if this goes in, he becomes the leading try scorer in the World Cup. Chris Anderson waits. Vainicolo waits. Decision is try. Old Trafford raises the roof. New Zealand are back.
Henry.
It needed something extraordinary, and it was a mistake. You have to put it down as a mistake from Darren Lockyer. Beautiful time kick from Stacey Jones. Matt Ruhr got to him. It interfered with it enough. And Vainicolo, who kisses the top of the football every time he scores a try. Boy, oh boy, they needed that, and they need this.
And they've got it. Henry Paul sweeps the conversion over the top of the bar. Come on, he says. New Zealand have hope.
And it all came about from that short kick-off. They took the gamble. All of a sudden, the brain had to get into gear. Frank Endicott says, you beauty.
Leslie Vainicolo. Try on his test debut against Australia in the 1999 Anzac Test. But none of them as priceless as that.
And it was a run from this fella just about to play the ball as well, Craig Smith. 15 metres forward, showed the aggression that's needed.
And the video referee has said the ball came off Darren Lockyer. That's why the try was given.
I'm nodding.
You are this time. Australia now have a challenge. New Zealand have their tails up. Just when the pressure was about to take its toll, they came up with something special, and Willie Talau.
Good work from the loose forward, Scott Hill.
Vainicolo to Henry Paul. There's the midfield bomb. Lockyer's after this. Oh, and it's picked up by Kimorley.
Just hesitated there. Got caught up in the swirling wind, came off Henry Paul's chest.
It's Lockyer who's joined the line. He's given it now to McDougall. Well, the last thing the Kiwis want is for an Australian score here. Darren Britt on the charge.
Well, they're always likely to do that. Ooh, he nearly lost that, did Britt. Did well to hang on. Big hit from Craig Smith.
Jason Stevens.
Surely Australia will just go through the basics. Nothing fancy. They'll apply this kick and chase.
It's with Kimorley. Kicker in chief. Kimorley's ghosted through. Kimorley's got Lockyer inside him. Lockyer touches down for Australia. Lockyer scored it, but did, but it was created by the little genius from the Melbourne Storm.
Superb switch from the blind there. They just held off him. He had all the pace and the wherewithal, but what great support from the fullback. Back on the inside. Oh, they missed him badly. It was the prop forward, Smith. Couldn't fill in. They picked out the prop forward well. Kamali made the try for that man there, Lockyer.
Well, Lockyer scored the try, but we're all thinking back to the Tri-Series final of last year when Brett Kamali did exactly that with a little run and sent Wendell Saylor in for the match-winning try. Here today he has sent in Darren Lockyer, which Matt Rogers now with a real bang over the top of the right eye is about to attempt to convert. But a touch of deja vu there for the Australians and the Kiwis. In last year's Tri-Series final, it was 22-20 to Australia at the end of a titanic struggle. And this now for an 18-6 lead for the world champions. It's 18-6 to Australia.
Well, there was speculation that Brett Kamali was not as good as Andrew Johns as the best halfback in the world. He's made a super point at a crucial moment in this game. Smiles all round, and why not?
Well, Darren Lockyer has made his mark. They've gone for another short kick off the Kiwis. That bounced off the, I was going to say bounced off the legs of Wendell Saylor, but Stuart Cummings disagrees.
Well, I'm not so sure that Wendell Saylor got a fingertip to that. According to the official, he did.
Looked like it came off the knee. That's from our angle, but Stuart Cummings down at ground level.
Wonderful composure, though, by the Australians. The euphoria of the Kiwis scoring that try, of course, and they just lifted the foot off the pedal and allowed Australia back into the game, but that was sheer class, wasn't it, from Kamali?
Oh, fantastic run. New Zealand just rocking a little bit now, but Craig Smith can maybe lift them. He's taking on Hindmarsh again. And Gidley was there. That's great play, though. He got it away to Richard Swain, did Craig Smith. And Gidley somehow, and Jones got to the hooker. Henry Paul, Stacey Jones. The Kiwis aren't done yet. Henry Paul again.
Well, at least they're trying to spin and keep this ball alive, something they failed to do in that first half. They know that uphill battle. They know it's going to be tough. They've got to try everything.
Richard Swain, Henry Paul now. It goes to Barnett. And Barnett trying to jinx his way through. Willie Talau is there. He's still going as Barnett. They're dropping off the tackles, the Australians, and eventually they make one, courtesy of Jason Stevens. Here's Richard Swain again. Henry Paul, Stacey Jones. Little dab through. It's come up. Oh! Kearney!
Kearney has knocked on. Chance gone. Oh, no! Kamali's knocked it.
Great tackle from Vainakolo, who's picked up the loose ball. Vainakolo goes again, tackled by Saylor. Oh, this match has had everything, and there's more to come. Logan Swan, brilliant pass. Henry Paul, Tony Carroll, around McDougall. Still going, Carroll! Tony Carroll scores! They won't go away. New Zealand will not go away. And I bet they're cheering all around Leeds right now, because this fellow will be in Super League 6 for the Rhinos next year.
Super play, they've got it out wide for the first time. That was outstanding basketball. McDougall went at him the second time, but the big fella Carroll celebrates with a punch in the air. Great stuff there, back on the inside. Look at the strength. McDougall goes high, he tries again, get out of the way. They're back. It's not over yet.
It is not over yet. Tony Carroll facing the Australians for the very first time. 4 former Brisbane colleagues are against him. He'll be at Leeds next year. This fella will be at Bradford. Henry Paul with one of the biggest kicks of his life. He's kicked it as Henry. 18-12 at Old Trafford. Frank's not dead yet.
Beautiful pair of hands here. Good work from Ruben Wiki. Offload. But watch how McDougall goes high. Even the second time. Should have gone for the legs. The former Brisbane Bronco has put the Kiwis back into this game big time.
Robbie Paul is on for the Kiwis. And he's got over a quarter of the match remaining. There he is, in a dummy half. Over a quarter of the match remaining to win the World Cup for his country. And it's not beyond them. It is not beyond them. There's Robbie Paul.
Well, they said it was too close to call. Could we get a draw? Could we get extra time? This has been a classic. Tough, some great tackling, some wonderful hands, some magical stepping.
Robbie Paul, infield it goes. Stacey Jones, they're starting to ping this ball around now. Matt Rua, but it's good defence again from Australia on the last. Henry with the kick to test Wendell Saylor. That's straight down the big fella's throat. He will come back. Away from Robbie Paul. Not though away from Kalis or Kearney.
Yet again, the Kiwis kick to Wendell Saylor. They've barely kicked to Matt Rogers all day. And yet, Saylor has come up trumps. They've given him plenty of work to do. Andrew Johns at dummy half there. He's just controlling things. Again, it's back to square one. Surely Chris Anderson, the Aussie coach, will get the message out. Nothing silly, nothing stupid.
Well, they are leading.
Don't give possession away. It's vital now.
Knock on against the Aussies. Referee took the opinion of his touch judge.
Yeah, just lost control a little bit. Yep, just sufficient.
That's some responsibility as well,
Yeah, it's a responsibility of the ball carrier. He's worked hard, Brian Fletcher.
His average handling errors, you might have seen there during this World Cup, have been 1. He's made 3 here this afternoon. And it's with the Kiwis now with Jones. Stacey Jones to the volcano. Scott Hill and Wendell Saylor get to him. Stacey Jones at dummy half. Logan Swan waits and gets on. It goes then to Kearney. Kearney drives it in and he's hauled down. Oh, the volume's gone up here. The neutrals in the crowd are willing New Zealand home. Robbie Paul, Henry Paul. This now is Willie Talau.
They've come alive of the Kiwis. They know they're in with a chance. They can sniff the chance to level the scores.
Robbie Paul. Ball back on the inside, charging run. What defence. That's how close New Zealand are, though. Robbie. Stacey Jones. Kearney. Kearney! Oh!
Melvin's back to 6. He knows it. He went for the ball. That'll be a hit and feed to the Kiwis. It's a big mistake by Wendell Saylor. He really all he had to do was just let that ball go into touch.
Well, you say a big mistake. He surely saved a try.
It was too low, Eddie. The pass was low. It wasn't a good pass.
If he'd not got to it, who knows? Now they've got 6 more tackles to weather. And they've got 6 more tackles. The referee is not happy with that scrum. Wants them to bind, which now they do. He's still not happy.
Listen, we haven't got heads in here. Sort yourselves out. In, hold.
Stacey Jones. Henry Paul. Talau has missed out. Barnett still.
Good work there. McDougall and Matt Rogers came off the line, took the big gamble. They could see the big fullback coming through.
Tony Carroll with the shirt nearly scratched from his back. Henry Paul. He now has the big Nathan Kalis. And he gets the ball away. Robbie Paul, Stacey Jones, Kearney. Vaimakolo off the deck. Vaimakolo, they're keeping it alive. Robbie Paul.
Scrambling defence, superb from Australia, it has to be. What a wonderful pass from Kearney that kept that ball alive.
Jones, Henry Paul. Henry Paul still. On the charge was Logan Swan. Flying tackle from the captain, Fittler.
Go without it. Henry Paul has come up with a mistake. And you don't have to be Einstein to work out what's going through the mind of Frank Hennicott. Oh, he was going to run
you are new to this game, I hope you've enjoyed the last hour, because this has been one of the epic matches of all time. It's had it all, and there's more to come. We've 17 minutes, and the World Cup is still to be won. It will go right down to the wire. Fittler with the big kick downfield. Vainicolo's underneath it though. Back come the Kiwis in a black and white tide.
Put his body on the line there, Matthew Gidley. He knows they've got to defend for their life now, hanging on to this 6-point lead. Good work from Johns.
Good driving again from Nathan Kalis. Adam McDougall, by the way, has finally raised the white flag. Trent Barrett is on for Australia. And there are over 44,000 in here. The people who have stayed at home and watched on Sky, well, I don't blame you in many ways for doing that, but really you should have been here. This is one of those occasions. Tony Carroll has dropped it.
They'll take the first knock on, and I think Frank Endicott is beginning to think that Lady Luck is going against them. Just had a little glimpse there at Trent Barrett coming towards him. It was sufficient for him to lose it.
Well, this really is an historic day. Just another reminder that this game is interactive. If you're watching on Sky Digital, simply press the red button on your handset to access the various options that we have available to you. And it's the first time that a rugby league match has been broadcast on an interactive basis here on Sky Sports, or indeed anywhere around the world. We continue to break new ground for this sport, and these two sets of players have produced a match that has graced this occasion.
It has been a classic. It's had everything. The tension all the way through it. Chris Anderson still looks pretty cool out there, but he knows. Oh, great break!
Barrett just on for the injured McDougall. They're doing everything to hold him down. Nigel Bangan have got away with it, and it's now with Fittler. Fittler's taking them on. Back it goes to Lockyer, and he was grounded by Logan Swan. It's the last one for Australia. Tim Morley will run at the defence. Scott Hill, wide it goes. Gidley's got Saylor there. Wendell Saylor for the corner, will score. Wendell Saylor is having the game of his life. Wendell Saylor, denied by the video referee in the first half, not denied now. He has got 9 tries as well in this World Cup, joining Leslie Vainicolo on that mark.
Again, beautiful hands from Matthew Gidley. What's this inside pass? Superb control. The sheer strength of this man, Wendell Saylor, as Eddie has mentioned, having the game of his life. But when you get a service like this young kid Gidley has come of age this year. International star. He knows that's a vital try.
Wendell Saylor's try. He got that deciding try in the win against New Zealand in the Tri-Series final of last year. 14 tries in his last 8 tests before today. 15 in 9 now. What a player. 20 in 20 tests in all for Australia, Wendell Saylor. Matt Rogers now. Well, 3 from 3. This arguably the most difficult. Oh, doesn't matter where he kicks from. This bloke can kick them from anywhere. Yes, the bow and arrow, and that one sailed over the top of the bar.
Wonderful combination. Centre and winger. Inside to perfection. See how Gidley stuck in 3. You beauty. Surely that must seal it now. The vain effort from the Kiwis to come back. Oh, that's a bad mistake.
Out on the full. Kick-off, out on the full. Penalty on the centre spot to Australia. Henry Paul knows that is a big blunder.
Well, they went for the short kick-off. They knew they were desperate. And this Australian side are too smart and powerful to surely give up this lead yet again. They will grind it and use the forwards basic and make sure the kick and chase is excellent, as it has been throughout this particular match. They've stepped up again of the Australian forwards.
And Fittler starting to run it now.
Well, I think that's the first time that Fittler has actually taken on the defence today. Certainly not 100% fit, but they've got away with it.
Scott Hill, here's Kimorley. And he is gobbled up by Matt Rua.
Well, how many times, Eddie, do we mention it, the fact that these Australians in the final quarter just produce something extra?
And this is Rogers. He thought it was in. Fittler wants it, he's got it. Chances here, support arrives. This is Hindmarsh. And somehow New Zealand stand firm. It was Henry Paul. Andrew Johns, they're firing it wide. It's with Lockyer, over the top, Gidley, Sailor, another try. World Cup on its way to Australia. Sailor with the try, 2 for him. Australia reigns supreme again. The despair on the face of every Kiwi in this ground. The Australians have dug deep when it matters. And Wendell Sailor has just probably drilled home the first nail on the Kiwi coffin.
The power, the composure, the ability to keep the ball alive. They got a comfortable lead. They could try that. Again, magical hands there from Gidley. Good work from Lockyer. As I say, when you're leading, you can take gambles like that. The celebration begins. And yet again, the World Cup is destined for Australia. He's made sure of that. He's had the game of his life as this fella. The Aussies have dug deep. They have shown their class.
Rogers misses. The man is human. 28-12. Chris Anderson, I think, knows that that glittering World Cup trophy is on its way back to Australia. And had it not been for the decision of the video referee, Jerry Kershaw, this fella now would have rewritten World Cup final history and picked up a hat-trick in the final.
Well, I think deep down, Wendell will look back on that and say, okay, but the most important factor out there is that they will be picking up that wonderful trophy. But it has been a classic game.
It has.
Full
New
credit
Zealand
to the
played
New
their
Zealanders,
full
yeah.
part.
Nathan Caleb. Nathan, don't start with that. Right, keep it out. It wasn't in the tackle.
Referee saw the use of an elbow by Nathan Kalis, and there it was.
Well, you could see
short
that Sailor had it into his nose. Actually, it's been played in a wonderful spirit.
It has. It has.
The respect for each other has been outstanding.
Oof. There's a flick on that by Vinakolu.
I don't think so. No.
No, there wasn't.
Well, they're desperate to give Wendell Sailor that hat-trick, aren't they? But Matthew Gidley, what a season he has had. Bounced into prominence throughout the NRL and showing his world class.
Well, do the Kiwis have one last throw of this dice? Less than 9 minutes now, and a huge gap to make up. 16 points is the margin.
Here we go, I'm waiting.
But this match has ended this carnival of rugby league that we have seen over the past month. Steve-O, the competition has had its critics, but you cannot take anything away from athletes like this.
Oh, this has been a magnificent end to the World Cup. Wonderful final. And the fans here at Old Trafford have enjoyed it. They're doing the Mexican wave now. They know that the Aussies will retain their world crown. And they want to enjoy themselves. They've been entertained fully. And the Mexican wave goes around. And I'm sure it's in appreciation to two wonderful sides who have given absolutely everything out there. And the greatest thing about it is that when that final hooter goes, they will shake hands and have the beers together. It has been played in the most wonderful spirit.
Yes, no cheap shots, no silliness, no pettiness. Just good, hard, solid endeavour. This fellow's played his way into the Australian team for years to come, Nathan Hindmarsh. John,
Wow, big game, hasn't it?
Big hit by Joe Bangener. Look out, Super League. Joe's in town next year. Kim Orley, Lockyer, Aussies aren't done yet. Fittler to crown it. Brad Fittler, the Australian skipper, just ghosted past the last line of defence. And Brad Fittler just gets ready to enjoy a very, very big night here in Manchester. The Kiwis are done now. The end of Frank's dream, and nobody really wanted Frank to go out a loser at Old Trafford again.
It's little doubt in my mind that the skipper has paced himself all the way through this game. But look at the skill on this man. The step off the left foot on 2 occasions. What's the balance? See how they used Tallis as the dummy runner yet again. It went straight across the chest of Tallis. They used that move so well, do the Australians. But it's sheer skill from the skipper. What a magnificent player he is. And what about this guy?
Another 2 points to Matt Rogers, another 2 points to the Australians. 34-12 now. And how about Brad Fittler, the 3rd World Cup and the 3rd winning World Cup for Brad Fittler, back-to-back captain of a World Cup winning side. Brad Fittler, one of the great stars of the world game.
Hey fellas, stay behind.
So about 5 minutes to go. It's 34 points to 12.
Settle down.
To be absolutely fair to New Zealand, they don't deserve to be on a scoreline like that.
Yet again, the final quarter syndrome.
Here they go again. The Australians are not done yet. Gidley! What a race! It's Barrett. My apologies, Trent Barrett. Barrett comes on and has marked his appearance in the World Cup final. Trent Barrett. It is turning into what it should never have been, and that's a wrap. But as you say, Steve, over the last 10 minutes, this mob in green and gold finds something from somewhere, and they just press the pedal. And Trent Barrett did exactly that then.
Deep within their own quarter yet again. What's a beautiful dummy here. Oh, sent the full back. Richie Barnett into no man's land. He had the speed. He'll remember that. That is for sure. Trent Barrett. Superb dummy. Notice how he used the eyes to confuse the fullback Richie Barnett. Oh, the youngster is happy, and why not? It's around now, but a tired New Zealand outfit. They have given it all. We mentioned, Eddie, that it would pay the price for all that defensive work in the first half. It has. They're out on their feet.
And needless to say, Matt Rogers added the extras from bang in front. It's 40 points to 12. Chris Anderson, job very well done. 8 tests as a winger, 4 years at Halifax. There's the conversion from Rogers. He won the league and cup with Halifax during his spell there. 2 grand final successes back home. The Aussie coach who's played 11, won 10 and lost 1 prior to today. Now he is a world champion. Chris Anderson goes home with this record intact, and Steve-O, we have to ask the question again. It'll be 2002 before the next World Cup. The last time anyone pinched the World Cup from the Australians, it was Great Britain in your era, 72. When will we see Australia knocked off this lofty perch?
When we start to learn to look in the mirror, dig deep, and stop kidding ourselves that we are getting closer and closer. We have got to start the junior development. We did that several years ago with the academy. We've got to do more than that. The academy has produced some fantastic players for Great Britain. What we have to do is make sure that we get into the schools. We have to make sure that we have more youngsters coming through. We have to make this the greatest game for the youngsters to play at all levels. Once we do that, once we have the depth, we then can start look towards the skills.
It was a little forward pass, so the New Zealanders will have the ball back, but Australia now pulling out every trick in the book.
It has been some tremendous defence from both sides, to be fair. The Kiwis in that first half, they were wonderful to keep it down to a 6-0 scoreline at the half-time. But this Australian pack, who I thought had not really lifted themselves, they certainly have done that today. They've worked overtime. They've worked as a unit, and they have subdued their opposite numbers.
It's with Stacey Jones. This now is Barrett. They are keeping it going to the end. 1.5 minutes remaining. Then we will crown Australia as world champions. But the Kiwis, to their eternal credit in this tournament, are keeping it going right to the bitter end. Henry Paul with another angle kick, but it's too long. That sails out on the full.
Okay, hand over.
Hasn't really been on form in the second half.
Well, when you think what it was like just a week ago at Bolton, New Zealand just blitzed England for 80 minutes.
They come up a little bit stronger defensive mark than that, than what they faced last week. He'll be happy, Chris Anderson. He's done a marvellous job.
But the Kiwis were faultless at Bolton, Steve. They've made 1 or 2 errors today.
And the Australians, to be fair, they've been near faultless as well. But what a wonderful effort for Chris Anderson. Has his detractors back in Australia and has fought for sole selection, and he certainly has made sure that this outfit has been prepared for the most important game, and that has been the final today.
Yes, they've had a wonderful tour, haven't they? And Gidley is looking for more. Down the touchline it goes. It's just flicked off the boot of Barnett. Only 10 seconds remaining. And the Australians in the crowd are counting down to another World Championship.
Well, the Aussies don't want to form the scrum. It's all over. That's a nice gesture.
Game over. Wendell Sailor with 2 tries. Denied in the first half by the video referee. Chris Anderson, 8 tests as a winger, as I say, a World Cup winner himself. And it's mission accomplished for Chris Anderson, Gordon Tallis and the rest. They ran in 7 tries. They won this by the margin of 7 tries to 2, and that in the end says it all. The Kiwis, well, they came in here as the people's favourites. They were the team that everybody thought were most likely to take Australia to the wire, but Frank Endicott's men just couldn't take it to the final 80 minutes of the tournament, and he will be a bitterly, bitterly disappointed man. In his 35th international as the Kiwi coach, he's on the end of a 40 points to 12 scoreline, and frankly, Steve-O, the Kiwis do not deserve that, but the Australians, they are a magnificent team.
They certainly are. They know how to keep going for the full 80 minutes. They're not frightened to launch the attack from deep within their own quarter, and that makes them a class act. And when you've got a man of this ability that keeps potting those goals over, it really has been a wonderful effort. His father was a great player too, the great Steve Rogers, but his son has emulated in that. There's the manager, Darryl Bampton. He'll be very, very proud indeed. When it mattered, the Australians have produced. And I know you keep saying it, Eddie. You look at the scoreline, we keep saying it there, we have problems with it, but they are just too good.
They're very good, and he is one of the best. Brad Fittler, who is downstairs, hugging his coach, but now talking to Bill Arthur.
Brad, I don't think that scoreline reflects what a tough game that was.
No, it wasn't. Great game, great to be part of. You know, they come here expecting a good finale, and I think it lived up to everything as well. They saw a bit of footy at the end, and that's just what our side's capable of. But great match to be involved in. I'm over the moon.
Was it? It was a great game to play in.
Yeah, it was stiff, and everyone had to earn their tries, you know. And, first couple of tries were from other blokes' mistakes, and that's what taking opportunities is all about. So we're really, boys are over the moon. We've had a lot of pressure on us. Now we can unwind.
Long 5 weeks to end it this way must be great.
Oh, it's been very tough, and you know, a team in this sort of position, I don't think you can understand, but a lot of pressure, and shows what sort of, they're a good side. You know, they shone it when it needs a good when it come out.
Your shot. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Chris Anderson alongside celebrating. Chris, that did you proud.
Yeah, mate, they're tremendous. I thought it was a great game, very tough. I thought we did really well the first half to hold them out. They put us under a lot of pressure. The territorial game, I think we just put them under a lot of pressure, wore them out, and we come home great in the second half. Scored some great tries.
Worrying moments when they just hinted at a bit of a comeback?
Yeah, they threw everything at us. You know, they're a quality side. Early in that second half, they made us work for everything. They had us on our heels, and they had to come up with another try. Anything could have happened, but Wendell came up with some tremendous tries for us this afternoon when we needed them. Freddie led really well, and we just battled it out. It was a great game.
Wendell's going to get man of the match and all the plaudits, but again, it's your lads, Gidley, players like that who did you proud.
Yeah, I thought everyone put their hand up today. It was a game where your weakest link was going to let you down, but everyone stood up strong. It was great. It was tremendous. Thanks, Chris. Well done. Thank you.
Chris Anderson and his captain Brad Fittler with Bill Arthur on the sideline. And Brad Fittler first came to this country in 1990. He was a teenager then, 18 years of age. Boy, has Brad Fittler come of age over the past decade. What a player, what a team, what a sport. Steve-O, the world champions at flipping everything, these Australians. You've got to go home and face them.
Again, it's not an easy task, I can say, but full credit to them. It's not just about physical toughness, they have the mental toughness as well. Even when the Kiwis were putting them under pressure, they didn't panic. They know how to slow a game down and then get back into the game plan. And the game plan is always pretty much the same. Make sure that you play in the opposition's half. They did it against England at Twickenham. They've done it superbly yet again here today. And the mere fact that New Zealand had to do so much work in that first half, it was always going to be the way of the world that Australia in the final quarter would run away with it.
Bill's with Gordon Tallis.
Gordon, how tough was that game?
Yeah, look, the first 40 minutes was like real hard, you know. Look, they come out and they play with a lot of passion, but look, the side I play with is a very good side, and we knew that we just hung in there, that we would have come away with the points.
Was it on a par with the Tri-Series last year, as tough as that?
Yeah, well, look, you know, this side, you know, they're in great form, and we knew it was going to be tough, and, you know, we had to play really good to win today, and we did.
I think you did. Best of the tournament by far.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, big games, you know, I produce, you know, some great performances, and, you know, Wendell Saylor, Brad Fittler, Darren Lockyer, you know, the list goes on. I think everybody was really good today for us.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Gordon Tallis, well said. And they played ever so well. A lovely moment, by the way, just before that interview. Andy Gregory, one of the greatest scrum halves that Great Britain has ever produced, went up to Gordon Tallis, shook his hand, and they embraced. Such great camaraderie within this game, not only when you hung up your boots, but also when you're out there in the fierce battle that ensues. And the Australians and the New Zealanders now intermingling, and we will soon have the presentation of the trophy. So Stephen Redgrave now is going to host the presentation of the trophies, and first of all to Stuart Cummings and his touch judges. Day that these fellas will remember for a long, long time as well, but the trophy that has just been played for has the green and gold ribbons adorning each side of it now. And now the Lincoln Financial Group man of the match in this World Cup final goes to Wendell Saylor, who could so easily have been celebrating a hat-trick in a World Cup final. Great effort. 2 tries that counted, 1 that didn't. A man mounted out of contract in 2002, and I'll tell you what, they will be queuing up for him in Super League. He fancies a tilt at the British game. Wouldn't it be marvellous to see him lining up in the Super League 2003 and beyond?
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, please.
Now the losers will make the weary trek through this tournament, the Kiwis. They end up on the losing side today, and they get the losers' medals from Steve Redgrave. Henry and Robbie will come back stronger for this experience for the Bradford Bulls. Stacey Jones, Tony Carroll, we'll see him next in the colours of Leeds Rhinos. Nigel Vangana, remember him from his days at Warrington. Joe Vangana, Bradford Bulls bound. Oh, I can't wait for next year already. Super League 6 will bristle with stars. They didn't deserve to be on the end of a hiding like this. That's Stephen Redgrave, the greatest Olympian that is living on this earth. I bet he has been impressed by the sheer spirit, skill and endeavour that has been shown out there today. But now a moment that I suppose had almost an inevitability about it, as the Australians, the world champions for 2000, go up and collect their medals. Gordon Tallis leading the way.
Each player will receive his medal from Steve Redgrave, CBE.
It's a fantastic piece of silverware, and a man who knows what gold medals is all about hangs the medal round the neck of each and every man wearing the green and gold. Steve Redgrave. It's a lovely moment for him, and it's a cracking moment, I'm sure, for this team of Australian superstars. And bringing up the rear will be the captain, Brad Fittler, and he will receive that glittering trophy from Steve Redgrave in just a few moments' time. Gordon Tallis, by the way, has already got one bottle of champagne to shower Brad Fittler with, and I hope Steve Redgrave's coat isn't his best, because he might get a splash or two as well.
Nice camel hair, I must say.
It was nice.